Hello, welcome to the Law Podcast Uganda. My name, as usual, Kafir Alexander, your host. Thank you for keeping it with us and thank you for following. Now, today, I would like to talk to you about a very sensitive topic and which has occurred to me during this time. The topic is friendly loans. For some time now, I have noticed my friends and my friends' friends having problems when they take or they seek help, financial help or monetary help from others. I have noticed that at the time of seeking the help, it's always good, it's always joy. By the time of payment, it's always tears and problems. That comes from a friend borrowing from a friend paying back or supposedly paying back a friend. Now, that whole thing is what we call friendly loans in law. Our discussion today is going to rotate around loans, borrowing money from people. Today we're not going to talk about banks. We're going to talk about people, maybe money lenders and friends, and money lenders. And here's the distinction. Money lending is a system or a process between a process of borrowing and lending money. And that one is strictly regulated by the law. And the law lays down how it must be done. For it to be a money lender, you must have a license. For it to be a money lender, you must have fulfilled certain criteria or certain considerations. But for me, Kafero, to lend to Peter, Kevin, Joan, I don't have to fulfill certain instructions. I do not have to. And that is what we are now categorizing as friendly loans. There's always been a problem and a question of, when I'm lending to a friend, do I have to add interest? I am here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that it's okay. It's okay to add interest, to lend with interest, even if you're lending to a friend. It does not necessarily make you a money lender. And that alone will not be a reason for the person not to pay back. In other words, those of you who take people's friends' money, you will not come back to say, at the time of payment, you will not come back to say, you know what, he lent me money, but he was not a money lender because he added interest and he didn't have a license. The law now will not protect you in that regard. So, what should take away from this podcast today is that it is okay for Alex to lend money to Joan at an interest, even if Alex is not a money lender. What distinguishes a money lender from a normal lender is that for a money lender to be a money lender, they have to have a license, they have to have fulfilled certain conditions that lead to the issuance of that license, and they must be registered with the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, UMRA. That institution is then responsible for regulating and authorizing money lending. Therefore, for money lending, it's now formal, and you'll see the businesses. So a money lender is one who practices the business of lending money to all and sundry that are willing to borrow that money, and those that he regards as being sufficient to take his money and to pay it back. So today, that's exactly what I wanted you to pick from this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Like we said from the beginning, the Law Podcast Uganda is there to make sense of the law, to make these abstract legal things, principles, whatever you call them, simple to you, to make them very, very easy for you to understand. In our next episode, we are going to talk about property of the dead. How does property of the dead have to be dealt with? who deals with it, how, and within what time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and keep it here.